I'm not really sure if I should be looking at my screen or if people look at the lens on their phones. So for now, I'm just gonna look at my screen because I feel like if I'm staring into the lens, I'm like staring into your soul. So yeah, this is my face. I'm finally really introducing myself, officially introducing my face, and that everyone's been wanting to see us and waiting so patiently. I've been putting this off to show my face for a while until I felt comfortable. So I did my hair in a like a Hollywood glam, like vintage hairstyle, and my makeup because why not? And I have nowhere to go. I'm just I just dressed up a little bit to kind of feel a little bit normal these days, and I wanted to dress up and look girly. My first time showing my face to all of you. So yeah, uh, I was kind of nervous doing this video, but trying to feel a little bit more comfortable. I was putting it off so long until I felt comfortable to show my face. So now it's here, so y'all know how I look like. So on YouTube and Instagram, I have been asking all of you guys to ask me some questions so I could do a Q&A and I'll answer them. So I'm going to do it in the order of the questions that I got, and hopefully this video isn't too long. So I've been kind of nervous. I'm kind of nervous doing this Q&A video, let alone showing my face to all of you viewers and subscribers who have subscribed to my channel. Thank you again so much. But yeah, so just bear with me. I'm trying to feel a bit more comfortable sitting in front of the camera. And yeah, so I didn't even prepare my answers, so I can be a little more comfortable. You can kind of get to know me a little bit better. So we'll start with the first question. Okay, I have my notebook right here. It's a pink and gold notebook. It says Boss Babe. And I wrote down all of the questions here so that I didn't have to go through my phone since I'm recording with my phone. And yes, so the first question that I got is actually from Diana. She has a YouTube channel. It's called Little Vintage Me 64, and she was actually one of the first few people that was asking if I had a channel and was motivating me to start a channel, and one of the many friends that I made here on YouTube at the live chats, at live sales. And yeah, so I'm going to answer some of the questions that she asked me. So the first question that Diana asked was, how long have you been a reseller? So I have been reselling since 2009. I mean, I started in Etsy around that time, just like on the side. So I guess you could say 11 years. Yeah, that's a long time. So yeah, since 2009. Okay, so the second question she asked me, is this your main job, and what are the main things you shop for to resell? Yes, this is my main job. I'm a full-time vintage shop owner online, and I have been selling vintage clothing, accessories, jewelry for men and women, and also some vintage kids clothing here and there. And I am also selling more vintage home decor on eBay now. So I would start selling a little bit of vintage home decor here and there whenever I did vintage markets and festivals, but now I'm doing a lot more with my husband Patrick. And yeah, the third question she asked me is, have you ever thought about opening up a brick and mortar store? Yes, I have actually thought about that in the past, but I mean, now with what's going on, I'm kind of glad I never did. And I kind of like just doing more of the festivals and vintage markets and selling more online, especially now. So, yeah, I always wanted to have one, um, but uh, obviously that's not in the plan right now. So I'm just sticking to online. Okay, so the next question Diana asked me is, what clothing items do you not deal in? Um, I'm very selective whenever I'm picking vintage clothes. So, I mean, there's always a use for everything, and everyone has different tastes. So, I mean, there are some crazy things that I do pick up, but I guess I would say I stay away from some. I guess, like, because there are 1970s, like, polyester stuff that's not very stylish. um, but then there are some, and some 80s stuff too. But for the most part, I mean, I guess I just stay away from just like really bad looking polyester stuff. Like if it's not like a stylish thing, or if it doesn't have anything unique to it, let's just say that. Um if yeah, if there's a certain piece, like whatever era it is, and it doesn't have something uh unique about it, I try to stay away from it. So it's not really necessarily a certain era or something, because sometimes some buyers are buying for like for inspiration and not just to wear, because there are some people that are like designers and want to have inspirational pieces to refer to or reference pieces. So yeah, I guess I would just say like really bad 70s polyester stuff, or yeah, just something that I know I can't either mend, or it's just long gone, like it's not good enough to repair anymore. And the last question that Diana asked me, it says, the items you buy from live sales, do you resell some of those? Most of the time, they're usually all for me, guilty to say. I mean, there were a few things that I've bought here and there that I'm planning to resell, but that's just what resellers do. Sometimes we buy for ourselves and then we end up reselling it. So, yeah, I have bought a few things, not a lot, but just a few things to resell from my store. So, the next set of questions that I got is from Gretchen from Vintage Cat and Paws. And she has a YouTube channel. And the first question that she asked me is, what did you do before you started collecting? Not hoarding. That's right, not hoarding. It's collecting. And listing. So I used to work in the fashion industry. I worked both sides. So I worked in the wholesale side and the retail side, all trades of it, you name it. But now I'm doing my vintage business full time. And the last question she asked me is, do you do eBay and Etsy full time? Oh, okay, yes, I I answered it at the end of the first question. And yes, I do eBay and Etsy full time. So the next set of questions that I got is from Instagram, and I know I asked these at like the end of September, and I've been putting it way off. Thank you for being patient for my answers. So the first question that I got is from my husband Patrick. And the first question he asked me is, why are you so lovely, my amazing wife? Hee hee, love you so much. Oh my gosh. I love you so much too, Patrick. That was very sweet of you. You can tell me why I'm so lovely, because yeah, you're just cute. I love you. The next question that he asked me is, what is your most prized vintage possession that you will always keep? I guess you could say there are two things. I mean, it's obviously that silver pillbox that I got with my mom. I'm not sure if it is vintage or not, but that's something I'll always keep because that story always makes me laugh of how I got it with her at the flea market. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you could watch my vintage first challenge video of the story. So I definitely will always keep that. And obviously my pink and gold Florentine tray that it's also in the same video as well. Those two things I'll definitely keep. So the last question my husband asked me is, what vintage era is your favorite? I would say my favorite era is the 1950s for me personally, with the style, just because this, like, my body type is perfect for that style. But I do like the look of, the 1940s and the 1930s. A lot of the styles in there don't necessarily work with my body type, but I like the look of it. So there are a lot of different uh, eras that I do love and am inspired by, but I would have to say I do like the look of the 1950s, like Hollywood glam era. So the next question is from Beth from Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties. She has a YouTube channel. You should go check her out, and she's a very wonderful friend of mine on YouTube. And she asked me, "How did you get started in vintage items?" Um, I got started in vintage items, well, like a passion for them, a lot appreciating them whenever I got to go to the flea market ever since I was a kid. And I guess you could say I got more started in it when I was working for a friend of mine who owned a vintage shop in downtown Jersey City. So, uh, and from there, a lot more vintage shops started opening, and I just love vintage shopping. So it's funny because from there, I guess I started my own collection, and then I got interested in selling items that I knew people would love, and yeah, that's how I got started. So the next set of questions that I got is from Jen, and she said, "I have two. One, what was your first vintage find?" So my first vintage find, well, my first vintage find that I ever got, I guess you could say, was at the flea market with my mom with that vintage pillbox that I'm talking about. It's a vintage silver, like, hinged lid pillbox. And the I guess for my, like, when I bought it myself on my own, my vintage find was that boomerang looking yellow white beaded necklace that I got at a vintage store in that I used to work in Jersey City. So yeah, so those were my first vintage finds, and you can watch it in that video in my playlist as well in the Vintage First Challenge. So the second question that I got from Jen is, what was your best vintage find? I mean, I love so many things. So I guess, okay, one of the best vintage finds that, like, that I got excited about is this vintage cardigan that had my name in the hang tag. It says Kim's, because there's actually a brand, uh, like a knitwear company called Kim's. So I guess you could say that was a pretty cool find that I got really ecstatic about because it had my name in it. And it's just like a navy cardigan with some embroidery and beading on it. So I guess you could say that was my best vintage find so far. So next question that I got on Instagram is from Allison, and she asked, how long have you been interested in vintage fashion? I've been into vintage fashion growing up, like as a kid, seeing it in movies like Breakfast at Tiffany's and My Fair Lady. I've always adored the old like vintage fashion in those movies. But yeah, I got more into vintage fashion towards more like senior year of high school, and then obviously I went to fashion business school. So yeah, that's when I got into it. Okay, so the next question that I got is from my friend Christina Postcards and Patina. You probably know her on YouTube from YouTube live sales, and I actually got her into YouTube live sales. So she's a really good friend of mine, and we actually have an Instagram together called Antiquing for the Soul, and we share all of our finds that we find together shopping at estate sales and antique malls, garage sales, flea markets, wherever. So definitely go check us out, and you probably follow her already on her Instagram at Postcards and Patina. So her question is, what inspired you to open up your shop? What inspired me? I guess I've always wanted to own my own shop. Growing up, it evolved more, I guess, during college, because when I was working at that vintage store and learning more about the fashion industry and opening up business, I guess you could say that's when I got more motivated to start my own shop. Plus, my shopping addiction kind of led me to it, so that because every time I would find items, I mean, it wouldn't be necessarily my style, but I would get it. I would get it for find it for other people, and I also started finding more stuff when I was working at that vintage store. Uh, at that time, I would find stuff that I would sell through consignment through her shop. So I got more into that, and I just wanted to start my own shop. Finding, because I would always find all these great items for myself, but then I would see something else and think, someone would like that and appreciate it the way I do. So that's how I got started. I got some more questions from Jen on Instagram, and her for other questions is, do you have any vintage find regrets? Selling something or passing on an item? Oh, yes, I do. There was this navy blue, like almost like a circle purse, so like a half circle purse. It was very unique, and I kind of regret selling that. Um, yeah, I kind of regret selling that handbag. It was really unique, and I've never seen anything like that. But then I found another similar one, like in a black, like a black patent leather, like half circle handbag, and yeah. So I guess you could say I regret it, but then I found a replacement for it, so I don't feel as bad. So the next question Jen asked me is there an era of vintage fashion that is your favorite? I already, so yeah, I answered this question from my husband, and the 1950s is definitely my favorite era for style wise, and yeah, I already answered that question, so we'll go to the next one. So the next question that Jen asked me is, who's better at picking your vintage finds, you or Patrick? um, I mean, both of us find, I guess, equal amount of really good stuff, so I can't really say like I'm better or he's better, because we both, whenever we find something that's just really different and unique, uh like if I'm at an estate sale or flea market or something, he'll go over there and I'll be over here, and then we'll show each other what we found. So I guess you could say we're both equally good at it. So that's my answer to that question. So the last question that Jen asked me is selling vintage your full-time job? Yeah, I answered this question earlier. Sorry for the repeat of questions. But yes, it's my full-time job. So the next question that I got is from my sister, Marissa. I don't call her Marissa, I call her Ate, which means big sister in Filipino. So um, she asked me, what free stuff can you give me? And she put laughing emojis. Of course, I can send you whatever you want, dear sister. I know you're probably watching this right now. So whatever stuff you want, you know, I can hook you up. You're my sister and I love you. Okay, so the next question that I got is from my god sister, Saren. And she said, what is your favorite movie? It's funny that she's asking me this question because we grew up watching a lot of, you know, TV and movies, and she'd always laugh because I'd always say, oh, I love this movie whenever it come on TV, and she has no idea what movie it is. But anyway, my favorite movie, I have a few favorite movies, I guess. So one of my favorite movies is definitely Matilda. I love that movie. I don't know why. I just love it. And my other favorite movie is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, for obvious reasons, because of the candy. Of all the candy, and I just love Willy Wonka's like sarcastic, funny jokes and everything in there. I could name a lot of lines from that movie if you know me really well, personally. So just thinking about it makes me laugh. I just always laugh when Augustus got stuck in the pipe in the chocolate river, and and Willy Wonka's not doing anything about it. But yeah, those, I guess you could say, are two of my favorite movies. But I love a lot of different movies, as she already knows. But those two movies are definitely two movies that I would definitely say are my favorites. So the next set of questions that I got are from my brother-in-law, Armando. And so the first question that he asked me is, what is the oddest item you found while searching for unique items? The oddest item I found? I don't know, really. I never really came across a really odd item. I mean, I would find odd items when I'm like shopping for myself or for my shop. And I guess the oddest item that I found, I guess I would say, is just like those pendants or stuff that are made from like human hair, like how they used to cut like a lock of their hair and just, you know, put it in a locket or something, wear it around as jewelry. I guess that's the oddest thing that I found, besides like creepy dolls and whatever. But yeah, I guess that's the oddest thing. I haven't really come across, besides like taxidermy stuff, but I don't really buy those things. So the next question that Armando asked me is, what was one piece you found that you will never sell? The one piece that I will never sell, there's a lot of things. I can't choose one, but I mean, obviously there's this necklace that I bought last year at an antique mall, and I forgot which the lady told me it was called. I think it's called like watermelon, some sort of watermelon stone. I'll put it down here. I can't remember the name of it. I'm so bad. But it's just this really cool necklace that I bought, and it's like, I'm keeping this. I'm not getting rid of it. It has this really cool like green and like aurora borealis like uh sparkly look to it. I'll definitely wear it in one of my videos and show how it looks like. But yeah, that's definitely a necklace that I would definitely keeping for myself and not selling. Okay, so the next question that he asked me, have you ever tried to sell something that was actually once owned by a shopper? Oh yeah, I mean, cause I have people that come up to me and they contact me and email me if they're if I'd be willing to look at their stuff to resell, and they do shop for me too. So yeah, I guess you could say I've sold stuff that has belonged to a shopper uh, because they contacted me and wanted me to buy their stuff, and yeah, I resold it. The next question that Armando asked me is, what is the most valuable piece, price and sentimental, you own? So obviously, yeah, I keep going back to that vintage pillbox that I got with my mom because I think it's I think it's a funny story. So that's definitely the most sentimental thing that I got because it makes me laugh all the time. And I guess price wise, I don't really know. Because there's a lot of things that I have. It's hard to keep up. So I guess price wise, like if you want to talk about like designer stuff, uh I guess you could say it was a pair of Prada sunglasses that my husband bought for me like a while ago, and it was very sweet of him. So I guess you could say that's price and sentimental. So that was very sweet of him to get for me. If I can find a picture, I'll probably put it here somewhere. But yeah, I definitely love those sunglasses as well. So price, and it's a definitely good sentimental and valuable piece that I've got. So those two items for sure. So the next question that Armando asked me is, when did you first know you were all about vintage? I guess you could say I got into vintage during more during college, because I had appreciation for it in high school. But yeah, definitely in college, because I used to work part-time at this vintage store that I was a customer first at. So I got more into it during my college years. And the last question that Armando, that I'm answering all of your questions. The last question that he asked me is, what was your first ever vintage piece? So I already answered this question, but it was obviously that vintage pillbox. Yeah, I keep repeating stuff, sorry. But that was my first vintage piece, like antique finds for that category. So if you're talking about clothing, well, I started off with that boomerang necklace, but first vintage clothing piece I ever got for myself, I can't remember. I think it was I think I might have a picture of it. I don't know. I might have to look for it. But the first vintage clothing item that I ever got was this purple and black like gingham sheer ruffle blouse. I still have it actually. And yeah, that was my first piece ever, clothing wise, I think. I don't know if it was. I know it's one of the first vintage pieces that I got. But yeah, I answered all your questions, so I hope you're happy now. The last two questions that I got on Instagrams from my dear friend Christine from Side Street Market. Should definitely go check out her YouTube channel, and she also has an Etsy shop and does a live sale at least once a month on a Saturday. And you should go follow her on her Instagram and her YouTube channel and check out like all the fun stuff that she sells. So her first question is, how did you get into vintage reselling? So I answered this question too, I'm sorry. But yeah, I got into it during my college years when I was working at that vintage shop, like I said. So the last question that I got from her, what was your first rabbit hole, lol, she's laughing, purchase? I already spoke about all the first vintage items that I got throughout this video. Sorry if I keep repeating myself. But yeah, I mean, from when I started shopping at flea markets, and then I think it escalated more when I was shopping at vintage shops and antique malls and more flea markets, and just kept buying more vintage clothing and then more home decor stuff. And now I'm buying more on YouTube live sales, which is like crazy. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that's my answer to that question. So those were all the questions that I got on YouTube and Instagram. I hope you enjoyed all of my answers, and I hope you enjoyed seeing my face for the first time officially. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you already know how my face looks if you scrolled up already. But for those who just follow me on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed seeing my face for the first time. I plan to do more YouTube live chats with you all, and possibly future YouTube live sales as well. Let me know if that's something that interests you, because I do plan on selling, just don't on a live. I just don't know what day yet, but once I do, I'll announce it. If not here on YouTube, I'll announce it on Instagram. You'll be seeing me in a future live really soon, because if some of you may know, I won all of those mystery boxes from Patrick at Trusty Huckster Mercantile at that the fundraiser that he did recently. So I'll be opening the 35 mystery boxes very soon. I'm waiting to receive the majority of it, but when I do a live, I'll open like some here and there, and we'll figure out how many I'm opening. But yeah, that was insane that I won that. I hope you enjoyed all of my answers to all the wonderful questions that everyone asked, and I just want to thank you all for subscribing to my channel and following me here on YouTube. So I'm feeling a little more comfortable sitting in front of the camera. We'll see how I am when I do a live with you all. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I don't know how long this will be, if I have to do it in 2 parts. Hopefully just one video and it's not too long. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and hearing all of my answers to all of your wonderful questions. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!